It is my honor to welcome our next speaker to QualityForge, Piotr Zrolka. Piotr is an accessibility expert. He's also the CEO of Kinaole, a company that specializes in making the world accessible to all. As a UX designer and strategist, he aims to bridge the gap between technology and its users, creating a better, more inclusive world through technology. Today, Piotr will talk about breaking barriers and explain the best practices in accessibility testing. So I'm very excited to see him here today and a UX expert.
Exactly. And I think that, you have to know the best practices to make it more efficient.
And to make a good, well-rounded, high-quality product.
Yes.
So, welcome
Piotr
to the stage, Piotr. Thank you for being here today.
Good morning and good afternoon, guys. Welcome. I will tell the story how to test the accessibility. So, first of all, I will tell a little bit detail about that more than 1 billion people around the globe today they encounter some struggling with using the digital product. So this is a huge number, and this number is definitely impact how we should develop the digital product on the daily basis. But last but not least, we also aging. And I would say most of us will have a disability in our lifetime. It might be, I'm wearing the glasses. I'm the man in the close to 40. I'm having on the bird and wearing the glasses on a daily basis. So because of that, I need also today some, maybe not the special, but functionality that help me to use the product in a better way. And I would say to confirm this is a well-known, or maybe you haven't heard it, report from UK. It's called the click away pound. So they evaluate that approximately 10% of the UK population today needs access, like the color contrast change, the dark mode, or maybe they're using assistive technology. And they found out that this group of the people generate the potential click away, which is worth the 17 billion pounds. So it is a huge number. And what does a click potential away means? It means I'm going to the one website. I put my introduction to the screen readers. So screen readers is the software who translate the text, which is visible or not visible on the digital ecosystem, and translate that in the synthesized speech or in the braille output. So there is a different screen readers on the market. This will be very important in a moment. The most popular is the JAWS and the NVDA. NVDA is the free open source, and JAWS is the paid one. The voiceover is a built-in in the Apple product. Narrator is a built-in the Windows. Of course, there's much more like the talkback, which is a part of the Android. So we're starting to building a digital product. And usually what I'm doing and what I'm using, I love to use the impact map because I don't want to attach to the persona. Because usually the persona is like, oh, beautiful, somebody who has wealth, he has work, have 5 kids. I prefer to talking about the user needs. And in this example, you have a socializer, you have a spontaneous person, but you also have a price conscious. And for example, who might be a price conscious? It might be older women. It might be the old students. It might be the John Smith who is on wheelchair. So they still having the same need. They want to travel. So they want to use some digital product. And then, so I will make a statement that we are designing disability rather to make a product accessible from beginning. So how we can change it? So luckily, there is a WCAG 2.1 and also 2.2. So there is a global standards who tell a little bit a story how to build a product in the accessible perspective. WCAG is split into 3 chapters, the single, double, and triple A. and tell a little bit guidelines how to ensure that we're building the product for everyone. This is super important. But if we take this as a perspective, accessibility or the WCAG cover some aspect of the human being. It's not cover everything. So it's very important to go a little bit broad, like include the age, include the gender, language, etc., to ensure that we're building the right product. So if we're having those elements in the place, let's think and let's go through the accessibility testing per role, because I strongly believe if we start testing earlier, we can, first of all, build a better product for everyone, and we can ensure and discover the issues on the earlier stage. You remember this quote that fixing the issues on the design cost $1, once on the development phase it cost 100. So this is the same principles. So let's jump on the first role. It's a UX UI designer. So how the UX UI designer can apply the accessibility testing on the daily basis? It might. I would say there's a very important role to be implemented or to be part of the accessibility journey. So first of all, if you're using a Figma or any other tool, you can use the plugins. The plugins that give you already a confirmation that you're following the accessibility principles. One of them is the color contrast. So there's plenty of the color contrast plugins that you can quickly verify, oh, my text cover or it's meet the minimum color contrast. I'm there. If not, for example, because the brand told us, oh guys, we're having a beautiful brand, please follow, but this brand doesn't follow the minimum color contrast, then we need a little bit find a way to improve it. All the Stark who giving you already principles how to ensure that the size of the component that you're building, it's okayish for the people who having a little bit bigger hands, or maybe they're using some assistive devices or a single pen, whatever. So already on the design phase, there is some tools that can verify if we follow the accessibility on the proper level. And then I really love, because everyone mentioned, oh, we are not able to test the mockups. Yes, you are. And I really love the concept of the concierge testing. So what we usually doing, so we're preparing the mockups, then we need to describe a little bit of semantic. And I would say today and nowadays, the UX UI designer should know the basic of the HTML. Is a must, because if you don't understand the concept, how the digital products are being built, it will be really hard to achieve this accessibility awareness on the beginning. And then you become a screen reader. So you become a person who can read and translate your mockup, for example, for the individuals with the visual impairment of the individuals who are using the assistive technology on a daily basis. So how it looks like from the Figma perspective. First of all, you need to decide if, for example, there is some alternative text for the elements which are not text content, like the icons, pictures. You can use this A11.1 annotation kit, which I really love and I recommend if you're using the Figma. Also, the meaningful sequence. So WCAG is not telling you what is a meaningful sequence, because for the Western and Eastern culture, the meaningful sequence might be a slightly different. So there's your decision as the designer, which then imply or influence the developers how does the content should be read step by step. So let's take examples. So there is a Kinaole website. So what we did, we described this as the logo. So there is logo, and this is also clickable link, because usually the logo direct us to the homepage. So what we did, we described first of all that into this semantic. So there's a link. Then we describe how this link will be announced for the screen readers. And then what we are doing, we preparing the screen reader transcript. Of course, you need to be known how the, or train how to screen reader works, what they read, because there is even the difference between the screen readers. I will tell about this later in this presentation. So what we did, this is a job for the UX designer. So I just defined a screen reader transcript and Kinaole link menu navigation, because there is also some menu navigation. Then list 4 items about us, our services, collapse button group. And you can see already on this level, if I'm the UX designer or UX UI designer, or whatever you're doing, but you're doing the mockups, I already need to define what is this. Is this a link or is a button? Because as you can see, there is some special arrows. Perhaps it's open some drop down or something. So what we did invite the blind person and we start to read this transcript for this person. And this person say, Kinaole, okay, a logo. So what does logo really do? Because from my perspective, each link should describe some purpose. So what we did, after that, we renamed this as the Kinaole logo, because some people, and I would say that there's a 50-50, some people prefer to have this logo name inside the alternative text. Some don't care it. But we put, so Kinaole logo, and then we put the main page, and then link. So already the person knows, oh, there's a Kinaole logo, main page, link. And already people, the people with the visual impairment, the blind, and those who are using the screen, there's a, okay, so there's a link, and it will direct me to the main page. So this gives us already confirmation and also expand a little bit of knowledge to ensure that we are building the right product. This is also important from the perspective that we start to describe the product earlier on the stage. We don't need to have a local host. We don't need to have a ready production system to test the accessibility. You can test it earlier. And already you can start to describe how it should be done according to the book. And also I would treat the accessibility as the innovation, because for me, to building and designing the accessibility for everyone, including the inclusive concept, is to ensure that we're building the additional layer that translate what is on the screen. And on the screen, you can see the regular, this is in Polish. I put this for purpose because the accessibility should be neutral. And you can see there is something that you can change the pricing. Normally, if you implement this by the book as accessibility, so each of this will announce separately. So it means, okay, I'm borrowing the 20,000, then on the 60 month, and then I have information about how much does it cost to have a loan. But in the accessibility perspective or the inclusive perspective, we can think differently, because what is the most important in such element? The most important aspect is how much I will pay, because perhaps I have some level of the income, I need some money, but what I can change only the how long does it take. So what we did, every time if you're using this slider or this slider, the screen reader will always announce the same content. Your installment amount will be something for the 10,000 on the period 60 months. And that is a way that we're thinking on everyone. You don't need to change the design, but you can change the way how it will be implemented in the end. So UX designers, so wow, we already covered the perspective how to test it on the earlier. Then the design goes to the developer. So what the developer can do? Of course, there is a concept of the automation. Is 100% of the automation testing is possible? No, not today. Functionality. I would say approximately from 25 to even 45%, but still, the technology is evolving. There is artificial intelligence that might help us to ensure that we are building the right product. But what we can do on the level of the continuous integration and continuous delivery. First of all, introduce some tools. There is a bunch of the open source to handle the www, the mobile, to ensure that we having already confirmation that we are on the right track. Also, we need to set up some automation testing on the different stages. Like, for example, if you have a unit test, if your organization using it, why not? Maybe we can already put something to ensure that we're building the right product. Of course, very important is to have KPIs and generate reports that we can see if we're progressing. This is super important to have a see, okay, yes, in this month we are better compared to the previous, or we are worse, and then find why we're doing this. A little bit overview of the tools. So what I wanted to do, I just used the conference page, and I just used the evaluatory to just verify how many accessibility issues I'm able to find. So guys, you did a good job. Automation cannot find any issue related to the product. This tool is for free. Everyone can use it. It's already cover approximately 10 success criteria that you can use on your daily product. The another tool, and on the other hand, I use another tool which found a issue. But the issue described that, oh, there is some insufficient color contrast for some of the elements. This element, this is online, 10 October, etc. And if we look on this, there is almost grayish to the, and the font is white, and background is grayish. For sure, there is a color contrast, but this is because of this tool, how it's took the color contrast, he report the issue. So we're having a false positive issue, say, oh, you have an issue. In this scenario, yes, you need to be prepared to not only, oh, I just implement the automation and I will have a score and I can just tell my boss, oh, it's fine, it's fantastic, we can go in the right direction. No, it's also required a time to review those issues. Then, from the, for example, the mobile, there's also plenty of the tools. One of them is the Espresso on the Android, which give you a really great foundation to verify the accessibility issue on the earliest stage. On the iOS is the Opium. This tool gives you already the information that if the developers already include some accessibility components or the accessibility traits in the system. So if we seeing the accessible through it's met, it means, okay, we are going in the right direction. So there is a tools. And then we're going in the tester, the human being or the AI. To be honest, I'm a big fan of the AI. Today you can use the ChatGPT or the other AI to verify the code. It's also give you some potential feedback that you still need to verify with your knowledge skills. And there is a manual test that you need to verify the website, and the tester or the auditor needs to have a technical knowledge how the product is built in, because usually this is looking into the code. Of course, there's plenty of the plugins that you can use in using like AXA, Wave, headings map, landmarks plugin that you can use it to ensure that you conducting the right manual test. What is most important? To provide the recommendation. I would say there is area to improve in the entire industry, because some people saying, oh, you're incorrect. You don't follow the 1.1.1 non-text content from WCAG. But then what? And this is very important to show a recommendation, suggestion, because sometimes there is plenty of the solution to solve particle issue. Like, for example, this, Should we describe this or not? Because, for example, the image for sure, missing to the alt tag. But there is one aspect. Then somebody need to decide if there is a pure decorative element or is a meaningful elements and how to translate. Of course, if you have a multi-language content, then you need to think, okay, so how to translate this into different languages. So very small things started to be a really big one. Of course, and again, I'm testing the conference page. So this is my picture, my name, last name, and the company. So I just went to the HTML code and I can see that, okay, my image is already contained my first and last name. But the question is, do we really need this? Because already my name is next to my picture. So for some people who are using the assistive technology, it might be the duplication because I'm telling the same information twice. So maybe, I'm not telling this a real issue, but this is something to consider. Do you really want, and what is the level of the accessibility or inclusivity that you want to introduce for your product? And I would say the screen readers. Many people saying, yes, we are testing with the screen readers. I have one important message to you. Be conscious, because this is a really nice page which is showing reliability or on the area support by different user agents. And you can see on the screen that combination of the screen reader and the browser might have a different reliability. And I would say nowadays, the best combination is the NVDA in the Firefox. This is the best ever, and I'm still seeing the people, especially blind people, who are using the Firefox and NVDA on the daily basis. So testing with that, it might be also already cover some issues because you can have a beautiful HTML code, but if you're using some specific combination, screen readers can tell nothing, and this is okay. Then okay or not okay, because still the screen readers and the browser, they are developing also. So we need also consider this. I remember that like a few months back, the Chrome put the update, and doing this update, people using the NVDA are not able to hear the errors on the page. It took like 3 or 4 days to fix this, but it's not always because you made a bad decision in the writing the code. Maybe it is because the screen reader, the tools, the browser, or even the system that you're using on a daily basis. So please remember, and from my perspective, I love to use the screen reader to just verify, not test. I can just go jump and see, okay, it's require a little bit of polishing, or there's a total nightmare because nothing is announced by the screen reader. But definitely, it's not the tool to test. It's rather to verify from my perspective. Of course, the screen readers require a huge knowledge how to use it. Because we as the human being testers say, okay, I would just use the tab and shift tab to go through entire content. There's a plenty of the combination that you can use your screen reader. You can even, if the page or your digital product have a well-defined heading structure, you can use the H key from your keyboard to jump directly to the heading structure. So it's important to ensure that you're building the right product for everyone. And last but not least, it's important that it's a team effort. It's not like you building the UX designer built and accessible product, describe everything using some plugins, etc. It's a team effort. It's a developer, business analyst, and so on. So from my perspective, accessibility is the UX must-have. Accessibility it should be the QA criteria. You should validate the
Oh, it looks like Piotr has frozen. Our technical guys are taking a look at that, seeing if we can get him back into the call. So far, I think we can safe to say this is an incredibly thorough and well done. Oh, he's back. Hello.
Yeah, I'm back. Oh, sorry, my internet connection was unstable. Sorry, I'm back. Yeah, so what does it really mean from my perspective? First of all, we build the better services for everyone. We can help reach the wider audience because if our product will be accessible, we can attract the more people for our product. We improve the overall usability, and I would say this is something super important. Less development and maintenance time, because accessibility is there's a quality of the code, how you building and how you maintain this for the future developer. So this is something that the company need to think about it, not only to have this ethical aspect to, oh, I'm building the accessibility inclusivity, but also I'm building the better product that it will be less cost in the future. And last but not least, remember it's a law, which is a mandatory in the UA, in the US, India, Japan, South Africa, and more countries they are in this. So thank you for this presentation. Sorry for the internet connection. So yeah.
No, thank you so much. I just want to say that was an incredibly thorough and well done presentation. I appreciated you had not only your personal examples, but other real world examples, and you also put us under the spotlight. So thank you for that, putting our website through the ringer. And it's glad to see it came out like reasonably well. Obviously, there are still areas to improve upon, but thank you for all of that. That was incredible.
Yes, I believe that we have time for at least one last question to Piotr. If you had one message to deliver to young accessibility specialists, what would it be?
Test it, meet the people, because I think I started my journey more like 15 years ago, and I would say I met the blind person who just showed me, oh, I'm just using the JAWS, which I bought for the $2,000 because this tool helps me to be the same person as you. You can use the internet, you can check the news, etc. So I think go on the conferences, go on the meetups, also go on the communities which support the individuals with the disability and older people to just, collect the information how they're using the digital product on the daily basis. For example, for me, my parents are very inspired because when I'm seeing how they're using the mobile, it's, fascinating. My dad is like, for him, it took like 30 seconds to open one app. For us, is it 2 seconds? So this is something that we can learn from them and perhaps adapt on the daily basis.
Yeah.
No, that's very informative. And
of course, huge shout out to our parents because it's always so enjoyable to help them with technologies, right?
It is. And I think that's also
I'm always, when my mom calling is Peter, I have a problem. There's something on the computer. I say, okay, so I'm willing to help. And this is something that we can already solve it because if we hear those, the voice of those people, we can improve our product later.
No, I think that's something we can all relate to. We all have older relatives who, those accessibility features, as you mentioned, they make it so they can keep interacting and keep in touch with loved ones like you and us and everyone they know.
Exactly.
Oh,
okay, Piotr.
Thank you so much. That was an incredible presentation. We do hope to see you again because that was outstanding. But you are free to go. Have a lovely rest of your day. And thank you again for being part of QualityForge.
You too. Thank you for our invitation and enjoy the rest of the conference. Cheers, guys.
Thank you.
Cheers.